are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing episodes of the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh, but most times we go deep. This episode is no exception, because no exceptions. We're talking about Here's Negan, and I'm very excited to debut some of our thoughts on this episode, because we kind of go into some things that we didn't really expect to go down, some roads that we didn't expect to go down, so I want to do some housekeeping before I get the episode started, and I want to do that soon. It's a fairly short episode, I think, in my opinion, compared to most Squawking Dead episodes. Amen. Thank you so much for being in the chat, and yes, I know we can't wait to talk about Fear the Walking Dead's return, episode 608, The Door. But in the meantime, two things to get out of the way. One, we did an interview with Alexa Nysensen Aka Charlie from Fear the Walking Dead. We encourage you to get the unedited recording of that. It has not been edited yet, and we released it sometime earlier this week. I can't even remember when. These days are all blending together. Please go ahead and go to ko-fi.com/squawkingdead. Pick it up now. So many people have responded very positively to that interview. So did we. We loved speaking to Alexa Nysensen. It was a very natural and awesome chat, and once we got the technical difficulties out of the way, which made it a lot easier, I think, for us to kind of just talk about anything, really, but mostly about her life, her acting career, her schooling, being on the set of Fear the Walking Dead, acting in certain parts, and then accepting and taking on certain challenges as a result of her character. We got to talk about that as well. So again, ko-fi.com/squawkingdead. Head over there. You can get the unedited episodes now. Or, hey, just follow us there. You'll be in the know for when we have the next interview, which we will be having. We have some very, very cool ideas coming down the pike, some of them for charity. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Second thing, I feel like it's a good idea every now and again to plug the ringtone that we have on ko-fi.com/squawkingdead. Head to the shop, the coffee shop in that link, and you should be able to get that for $3. And if you are a coffee backer, someone who's given us a coffee within the last 30 days, or somebody who subscribes to a coffee a month, because we ain't going to stop you if you want to help support us, you will get that for free. Just head to the link in the shop. There is a link at the bottom of the description that you can copy and paste into your address bar. Hopefully we can get the links to be clickable in that shop link, and it'll take you to the free version that you've earned. You've earned it. You've supported us. And as always, if you give us a coffee during the stream, your message will pop up during the stream and stay there forever. Thanking you for memorializing you for your support. Along with your message, which, of course, if you're trying to cancel us, that will be there forever too. So now everybody will have the goods on us. That's about it for the housekeeping. And I think that's it. I mean, we're going to try... we also have a trivia competition. I think it's just a Fear the Walking Dead. Correct me if I'm wrong, Charity. A Fear the Walking Dead purely trivia tournament this Sunday. I think it's 6 to 8 or 7 to 9. I can't remember which it is. Listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. We're very lucky to have this episode out as quickly as we have been. It's still a Friday. There was a chance that I was not able to get this episode out on Friday. I had 2 hours of sleep because I edited all night until like about 5 in the morning. But here it is, and I'm very happy to bring it for you. Oh, so it's 4 to 6. So it's one... Oh, so, okay, yes. Seasons 4 through 6. So the trivia is seasons 4 through 6. It occurs 1 p.m. Eastern on Blazy Gardner's YouTube channel. That's BLAZYGARDENER. Head over there, subscribe to her YouTube channel, and you'll at least be able to see it live. And if you want to be a part of those trivia tournaments, DM her on social media. It's the same at Blazy Gardner everywhere. So, without further ado, thank you for indulging me in my ramblings. Get the Alexa interview unedited. Be on the lookout. Enable notifications and subscribe to our channels. Get notified when we go live and all that stuff. And just follow us on ko-fi.com/squawkingdead so that you can get the edited version of the Alexa interview. Be a part of the next interview. We had some really good questions, some really good feedback, and a huge supporter response to that interview. Good things keep coming from here on in, so be on the lookout, because we're going to be doing some crazy things in the next couple months. Take care. See you in the chat if you're here live, and enjoy this episode. We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing episodes of the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh, but most times we go deep. And today I'm here with Alania, obviously. How are you? And Cosmom's here, and I'm Rachel Burr. I'm David Cameo. Yeah, we're here today to talk about TWD episode 1022, which is the sixth and final of the bonus episodes of season 10. Here's Negan. We've been waiting for this one for a long time since they actually said it was one of the roster. So here we go. But before we do that, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which was AMC deciding to release Fear the Walking Dead's 8th episode of season 6.
The door?
The door. The elephant isn't the actual episode itself. It's the fact that it was released early Sunday morning, the day that Here's Negan was publicly airing. I don't know about you guys, but given the fact that it was made available to AMC Plus and Premiere subscribers earlier that morning, I stayed away from the internet. I had a feeling that something was going to happen, something big. This is just my impressions from Dalton Ross, from Entertainment Weekly, Sarah Beth Pollock, Kirsten Acuna, even Brandon Davis was like, you guys do not know you don't know what's going to happen. And I'm here for it. That's overall the moves being made for this season are swaying even the most harshest critics of Fear the Walking Dead. But putting that aside, the fact that you would do that on such an epic episode of The Walking Dead, at least in the bonus episodes, it is the star of the bonus episodes, in my opinion. The bonus episodes are already having a hard time as it is, getting the kind of traction that you would hope that they would, at least with the louder contingent, right? Because again, it's a large minority that really is complaining about the bonus episodes, but considering that and considering this is like one of the episodes that people have been waiting for and it got a pretty good response, and then they dropped Fear the Walking Dead's 8th episode, and it's like, oh my god. A, how are we supposed to actually be on the internet? B, how are we supposed to even talk about this episode given what happens in that Fear the Walking Dead episode, which is pretty epic. It's a great episode through and through. Really good episode. I'm stacking this against Here's Negan, and it's like, I don't even want to talk about Here's Negan anymore. That's how good it is. That should be made clear.
I totally agree. Fear's episode airing a week early, and everyone who saw it, if they had seen Negan, they forgot the episode, honestly. Which does really suck because, I mean, even though this wasn't my favorite bonus episode, I did still enjoy it. I've been looking forward to this since we met Negan. I mean, I've known about his backstory since we met him. And not only that, I was excited to see the changes that they would make, because obviously it's not going to be exactly, how the comic book readers know it, how they would make Negan sympathetic. Because I figured that's what was coming. They want us to sympathize with him. Good try.
Good try. Not quite. Actually, so let me ask you as a follow-up. There's two questions I have. One, what was your favorite, if not this one?
Well, Diverged, of course.
Really Diverged of all the episodes. So wait, hold on.
It was so Carol heavy, so yeah.
I would have thought maybe even like Find Me would have been a little bit more interesting than Diverged.
It hurt me too much to see the separation between Daryl and Carol during
visually.
That. Yeah, visually see it. I mean, Diverged, she was going through it emotionally, and so I felt like I could be more support for her rather than watching it happen firsthand. That episode made me feel the most. How's that? That's why it's my favorite.
So let me, before we continue with this, I prepped the session for today's episode, right? Obviously, because that's me. And when I prepped the link for people to join the audience, I didn't realize that I put the guest. I should explain this because everybody's like, "Who's this person? What are they doing here?" Well, Alani is a beloved friend of the podcast, obviously, yes. Or not obviously. You don't know. I'm telling you now. She is. So get off it. You want to be on the show? Wait till I make a mistake. You can get on the show too. See, the story goes is this: there's 3 different links that I can post in the coffee posts. One of them is the host link, which nobody gets, and I don't think I can even share that link anymore. The second one is the guest link, which is basically what I give to Rachel when we're ready to record. I give it to an interview guest, etc., which is what I gave today. I gave out the guest link instead of the audience link. That's the third link. And that's the ability to be in the chat as we record. Obviously, if you don't know what we're talking about, when you back us on coffee.com/squawkingdead, you have the ability to join us in our recording sessions, to get the unedited episodes after we're done recording, and the ability to join us on stream on Jackbox Games every Wednesday at either 7 or 8 o'clock p.m., depending on how I feel.
Whenever we feel like it.
Whenever I feel like it. 7 or 8, whatever. Deal with it.
Just sit by your phones and wait.
Deal with it. So, Alanya, if you had to pick a favorite of the bonus episodes, what would you pick?
I still gotta go with Diverged.
Yeah.
I just enjoy watching Carol on there. Melissa McBride is awesome. And Dog, he was cool.
7 tore it up.
Let's not forget the rat.
That's right.
Let's not forget the rat. That's true.
The rat.
The rat.
All right, so let's talk about this episode because, like you said, it's something that most of the fandom, not all of us, I would have been okay never having gotten this episode. However, I'm not going to, we're addressing the question you must have is, Dave, what the fuck? I thought you said no pre-apocalypse flashbacks. Well, we did get one, at least, as part of the package. If you remember what I said last week about how they would do it, there is a sort of pilot episode-esque style to the flashback. The reason why they go back in time is to show the scene where he doesn't return the jacket, and they show him having basically like a midlife crisis. He's kind of stuck in a rut, can't get out of it, and then the apocalypse happens.
He's playing the game.
Yeah.
He's playing the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To literally telling the kid, you better get your shit pants on because you're gonna shit your pants. Like, right? And you know what? It's funny because you see this and you're like, oh yeah, I have a friend or my husband's friend who is in the same position, right? Like playing video games and like, I'm out of work. This is COVID times, right?
Sure.
It's so easy to relate to a character like that. And especially since this was filmed during COVID, it just makes sense. So I can see how that could actually get a lot of people connecting to this character.
This episode definitely did make me emotional, but the only reason is because it is so hard for me. I don't know about you. It was hard for me to separate Negan from Jeffrey and Lucille from Hillary because I would just see this beautiful married couple in love, and that was beautiful to me. And then I would remember, no, it's Negan. And I'm like, stop it.
But I think that was a good tool to use, though, because these shows know what they're doing when it comes to casting and stuff like that. Like, had it not been Hillary, I'm sure it would have been fine, too. But there is just something about the epicness of Negan, and the thought of not using Hillary is almost like foolish.
Yeah.
In a sense, because you want to see that stark contrast. You want to see a loving Negan that absolutely adored his wife. Obviously, didn't really appreciate her at the time, but after having gotten the diagnosis and then showing up for her, you want to see that side of Negan. You want to be able to get that, and you're not going to get that with some other... I mean, you will get it with some other actor. Let's just be honest, with some other female actor. But I think it was a good hack. I think it was a good hack to get all those kissing scenes, to get all those loving scenes, to feel the genuine emotion from these two actors, human beings. Listen, when I was watching it, I agree with you. I was kind of like, is it the couple in real life or is it the couple in screen life? And at some point, it didn't really matter to me. Yeah, right. Exactly. It didn't really matter to me. That's what I'm basically saying. You want to criticize it a little too.
Not at all. But once I remembered the on-screen couple, my thoughts and my theories changed after that. I mean, they are really, really trying to sell us on this sympathetic Negan. You're like, look at what a good guy he was, which tells me that, one, he's probably going to be around for all of season 11.
I don't know.
And he may even play a bigger part. They want us to see him as a person, not a villain anymore. So I feel like we're being set up for that.
Negan as a character, kind of sort of like Rick in a weird way, does not go through the normal evolution that most characters in the Walking Dead universe do, or at least most characters that survive. The thing that we always say about the Walking Dead universe is that the characters become the people that they were meant to be. Negan doesn't become the person that he was meant to be. In fact, when Negan comes into the apocalypse, he becomes something he thought he had to be in order to survive it. But he doesn't become what he's meant to be. It's only at the end of this episode, when you see him sort of smiling, that he finally opens the door to the possibility
of who this person could be now. Because now he's ready to put what he thought he had to be, kind of what Rick thought he had to be in order to survive the apocalypse. Because look, Daryl was made for this world, right? He's built to survive, but now he has to learn how to be a person. Michonne seemed to just gravitate to this world. She was ready. She came out sword swinging, chopped off the jaws and the arms, and she got this. She got it. Andrea especially. Like I just had a conversation about Andrea the other day. I was just like, look, say what you want about how annoying she was. She got it, just kind of like sort of like Shane did, even though they were both kind of. Dale didn't get it. He couldn't adapt to this world. And it's only now that the Fear the Walking Dead characters are kind of going through this evolution where they're kind of meant for this world, but now they're kind of going next level to be masters of this world. Like, you know, the Alicia Clark and Strand especially, gotta admit it. I mean, as much as I don't like what's happening, yeah, he's there.
In Negan's case, I think that that's who he was, and the apocalypse allowed him to be okay with that. He beat the guy up in the bar, put him in the hospital, and he felt shame. But I don't think he felt shame for what he did. He felt shame because he lost his job. Now Lucille has to pay all this dude's medical bill. Like, he felt shame for what happened afterwards. I don't think
consequences.
The consequence. I don't think he felt bad about what he did to the guy. I think he'd do it again.
And neither did Lucille, by the way.
Oh, right. She said he deserved it too. And
he had it coming.
And I kind of made a note about Lucille. Had she survived, I think she would have been right alongside Negan at the sanctuary. Mm-hmm.
I would probably even go as far as to say, even though Hillary Burton herself says, oh, she'd be tending the garden and sprucing the place up, that's Hillary Burton.
Right.
That's not Lucille.
Right.
Lucille, I think, would have run it. Yeah. For sure. Negan would have just been a hapless lieutenant, to be honest. Maybe first lieutenant, sure. Yeah. Like number one, like Riker on the Starship Enterprise.
Lucille would have been Negan and he would have been Simon.
Well, but even to that point, he wouldn't have been Simon. Like, Simon is Simon. Right. Simon is a psychopath.
I mean the position. You know what I meant.
Right. But let's just make that clear. Yeah. Because Simon be Simon. But Negan would have retained that good part of him. Because the whole reason why he embraces the darkness is because, first of all, Lucille herself tried to get the guy to tone the shit down, to stop talking so loudly. And then Negan felt like, okay, she's doing her best. Let me step up. And he even says nicely to the guy, hey, I really appreciate it if you'd pay for the next jukebox thing. Well, it's fair enough, right? You know, it's like, okay, listen, sorry about that. Listen, if this was me, obviously, I'd be like, oh, I had no idea. Here's $1, play it 4 times. But this guy got in his face, and then he just lost his shit. And you're talking about somebody, obviously, who the whole scene with him playing video games is not just to illustrate that he's a man adrift. It's also to illustrate that this is where he is in life, too, mentally. Losing his job and seeing red and all that, that may be like the tipping point. But he's been cheating on Lucille with Janine for a while now. And that tells you a lot. He's been a shitbag for a pretty long time, a man adrift for a very long time. And something that I want to also bring up that we're going to repeat probably every now and again, Negan Smith. Negan represents everyone. Everybody has this moment where they run into this rut, where they're the everyman or the every woman. You get into these habits and these routines and all this, and everyone at some point, maybe and hopefully not, has a breaking point, where they lose it for 1 second. Negan uses that breaking point constantly in the apocalypse. He embraces the breaking point because there are no consequences. This is why I say, and you may disagree, and that's fine, because I feel like that person who uses the breaking point in the apocalypse as a means to survive it is not who they're meant to be. They're just using that moment to say, hey, this is my bat. See, it's like Lucille isn't the bat. Lucille's the moment. Lucille's the attitude. It is what he feels he has to be to survive, because he doesn't have her anymore. You have to do the fighting for both of us. The way for him to reconcile what that is that moment in the bar. I'm fighting for you, but literally in the bar. That's who I have to become to survive this apocalypse. 100% of the time. It's as if he never really got a chance to become the kind of person he was meant to be. And maybe he was never meant to be. Let's talk about that for a second. Maybe he was never meant to survive the apocalypse. Like, he was the everyman. Yeah. You could even see him in the basement being like, I don't believe this bitch could survive nothing. Nothing. His wife kicks his own ass every single time. Oh, you're making a meal tonight? Oh, you little pussy. Like, seriously, he's not the Negan that you expected him to be, right?
And he's a lot different. And that was one of the changes that I'm glad they made. They kept Lucille alive during the first part of the apocalypse, which is completely different because in the comic books, she dies. It's almost like Lucille's death triggers the apocalypse or something, because like she dies and then it all falls apart. But now we see what would happen if she had survived a little bit longer. And you know what? Maybe her surviving a little while would have turned him into this puddling, bumbling, pitiful man.
Not Negan.
Not Negan, yeah.
This is what I'm basically trying to say. He was never meant to become, Negan. He was never meant to become. That's not who he is. The cue that most people take from, I always saw you the way, she says this to him at the end when she's ready to kind of give up on life. He's like, there are times I stay up at night and I wonder, like, why in the hell you stayed with me? She goes, well, it's because I always saw you the man you were meant to be right now. Who is that man? That's who he's meant to be.
Taking care of his wife. Saving people. That's who he thought he was.
Who are we describing, though? We're kind of describing Rick, the man who doesn't give up on somebody, will bite the neck out of a claimer just to save his boy.
Slight differences. I see where you're going. I totally understand that, but that's not my theory for Negan.
I'm not saying literally. I'm saying she even says, stay. It's my time. And he's like, I'm not giving up on you. Which is kind of a Rick move. Like, Rick wouldn't stay.
Okay, since we're right here at this moment, I gotta ask.
We're just
something.
all over the place.
I know, right? So, when she asks him to stay, I saw Lucille realizing she was going to die. She knew she was going to die. The treatments weren't working, and she just didn't want to be alone. She knew that if he went out and looked for this medicine, she would die while he was gone. And she was asking him, don't let me die alone. And he left anyway. Part of him had to know that it was possible. He had to know that she might not survive it. She might be gone when he gets back. So a part of me feels like he left to avoid that, which, in my personal opinion, is selfish, because now here she was all alone, died alone. Here's
why I say I don't agree. And this is me projecting. That's what enables me to understand the character a little bit more, because I do feel like he and me are on the same page. But let me just say what Sharondy says. He said as much as the end. He's saying, while he was putting Lucille to rest, let's say in the fireplace, that he was a coward and he ran because he didn't want to see her in pain. I think part of that is true. I also think that part of it is genuine too. Like, you have to remember that she didn't die from cancer.
Right.
She died because she killed herself right away. I think there's a little bit more to that than even the actors understand. I mean, I'm being bold by saying this. I recognize that. But I think part of understanding Lucille is saying, I think this was her gift to him. You need to stop holding on so hard to hope. And this is the weird irony about who he becomes and calling himself the saviors, is that he becomes this character that is constantly trying to save people. He doesn't give up on saving people, even though he does it in the manner in which he thinks Lucille wants him to be, like this seeing red character all the time. But I think it was her way of saying, I'm going to eventually die. He needs to learn this quick. My husband needs to sack up, and I cannot let him walk through life thinking he can save people. It's imparting a lesson. Of course, she's thinking about, he could have been here with me while I died. I think there was a little bit more generosity to Lucille. I don't think she's sitting there going, boo-hoo, he could have been there with me. I'm very sad. I'm going to kill myself. That's not Lucille.
Oh, no. No,
we have to agree to that first before I continue with the rest of that.
No, from Lucille's standpoint, I totally agree with you. I think she took her own life to spare Negan. Yeah, absolutely.
But also to impart upon him that like almost like a curse. Like, I'm not going to let you continue having this attitude of like, don't give up on me. Don't do this. Like, oh, we can save you. We're going to go through hell and high water. We're going to save you. Like, no, dude, this is the way things are. Negan, this is the way things are. I'm going to go, but if I go, I don't want you to keep thinking that you can save, even if you save me. This is what I'm saying. Even if you manage to find the thing, I'm not built for this world. This is where I'm leading to. I'm not built for this world. I was a bitch boss in the old world. I had my shit together. I was the breadwinner. I mean, whatever you were doing in the high school, that's so cute, gym teacher. That's so cute. Yeah, I brought home the bacon. I'm paying your fucking bills after you busted that guy's face in his life in the hospital, probably. Right. But like, I'm the boss bitch. But like, in this world, I'm crumbling away. And even if I survive this thing, I don't think I want to live in this world, to be honest. That's what I'm thinking. I had my licks. I had my kicks. Like I was a fucking boss in the old world. Now what am I?
I kind of felt like Lucille would have thrived because she was the one who wanted to put the walker down. She's like, you need to go take care of that. She said it several times, and he's like, oh, we'll just turn the generator off and they'll wander away. And she's like, no, you need to go take care of it. And then she's the one that put him down anyway. I think Lucille was tougher than we give her credit for.
No. I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. Here's the thing. I just thought of this now. If that's the case, then why is she with this pussy? Because here's the thing. And I said this on purpose because she kind of I only say it because he said it in the episode, so I'm copying him. He said it to the gamer teenager. So it's this weird paradox. Okay, let's run the scenario. If she was to live and survive, imagine in your head right now the Negan that doesn't get the lesson she imparts on him by killing herself. Would they have stayed together? Given what you just said. She survives, moves on, killing walkers. He continues to be a pussy, right?
If he continues to be a pussy. I mean...
Right. But
I could see them toughening up together.
Her being alive
like
makes it so that he doesn't have to become... Yeah, I guess like essentially just like that, right? Which is the irony, because I love that little bit of irony with him and the goggles and everything like that, and gearing up, kind of like Eugene might have done, right? I love that little parallel. Like this is why I think Negan gloms onto Eugene. Oh, you're me in the basement. Happy days. Thank you for saying that, Lania. But then you have this issue. If he does not become the man she even wants him to be, because you can see she's clearly annoyed with him. I mean, she's trying not to show it. It's like, it's okay. Drags her chemo equipment back downstairs. Like after shooting the walker. It's like, it's okay. But if I have to do this like 3 or 4 more fucking times, I'm going to kill myself just to leave this world, just so I don't have to deal with your pussy ass, right? But here's my point. It is a paradox, because if he was to save her, let's just say, and she doesn't kill herself, and they live past this moment, I'm sure the thing is, I'm sure 100% that she loves him, sees him as the man he is now, the doting person who cares for her and is always going to have her back and be there for her. You can love somebody and not want them anymore, especially because of circumstances. There is a paradox here.
I immediately think of Dwight and Sherry. Mm-hmm.
And I have those similar feelings too, because back then, before Negan became in the picture, I'm like thinking, yeah, that makes sense. These two get stronger together the more they're out there. They survive. They have to do things they don't like to do, but they accept it and they move on. Then they meet Negan and circumstances change. And she feels like she has to do things that he is not entirely comfortable with, but that's how you survive. And you see this in families all the time. They circumstances happen. Let's say a child dies. God forbid a child dies. And they're never the same again. You can't force people to be together. And so this is kind of one of those circumstances where you just got cancer at the start of the apocalypse. And then like you have this chemo and all that stuff. And it's like, and now you're in the apocalypse. These are 2 different circumstances happening in tandem right now. So like you can love each other all you want, but if you have to live and move through this world together as the old people, I don't know. Marriages split for less than the zombie apocalypse. To reiterate the paradox, say Negan saves her. Who's to say that Lucille will even want to be with a pussy like him? Which is weird, because I think there's a part of her that offs herself to say, I think if I'm not going to want to love you anymore by the end of this and you save me, I don't want to live in that world. I love you, and I don't want to have to survive that world. I think I need to give you a gift. This is what it takes. Now he takes that gift and goes 1,000% with that gift. And listen, again, I'm reiterating fully, you don't have to agree with me. I'm just thinking there is some poetry in like her saying, I'm giving you a gift. I'm offering myself to give you a gift because you need to sack up. You cannot live in this world thinking the way you're thinking right now.
Honestly, I think had Lucille survived, I think she would be sort of a leader, but I think she would also be whispering in Negan's ear, and he would still be doing all the same things he would have done under Lucille's direction.
Let's do a +1 on that, because I agree with you. But much like Negan, she would have multiple husbands. For sure. For sure.
Well,
then
you have to go back to the comment where you... Well,
maybe Dwight.
Maybe. But then you'd have to go back to when you just said she 100% loves him.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But she can't stand him. That's the thing. Because he never becomes the man that he was meant to be. No. Now, whether that's seeing red Negan, the Negan that we know all the time, or the Negan that emerges by the end of this episode, neither of those two things would have happened had she not offed herself. Neither of them. This is the gift she gives to him. Now, eventually he takes to it, puts her to rest, and becomes the Negan, maybe now that he's meant to be in the apocalypse, which has to incorporate the old Negan. You are who you are. You're not changing overnight. Again, if she survived, she wouldn't be able to stand him. He would just never adapt. He might, but still not fast enough. It just makes sense based on what we're seeing. Like, they're almost at a breaking point even before the whole thing happens. She gives him a chance. She had a gun, for God's sake. She's about to kill him for the discretion, but she saw something in him. And I think that's what really carries her through, even through the diagnosis, even through almost getting like a death sentence, saying the chemo's gone. It's like, but I still believe in you. You've proven yourself that you can be a caring person that can maintain their humanity and sack up and do the thing he needs to do, survive this world. But you just need that little extra thing. You need to know that sometimes like the Elton moment in World Beyond, I don't blame my mom. Like finally coming to the realization, I don't blame my mom for being scared and having a moment because he was about to have his own by leaving Percy behind. Mm-hmm. It's similar to that. Like, I need to know that I can do that and then deciding maybe not to. But I need to know that at some point, I might have to give up on somebody. My mom was scared. She just needed to survive or whatever. Like, I don't blame her. And this is Elton saying to himself, I'm trying not to blame myself. But now I see the choice that I have and I'm choosing to save him. Same thing. Different person, same thing. So
I wanted to make sure I was right, but that is Leah's cabin that Carol takes Negan to, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I gotta admit, there's something like very cool about having Carol back because it's good that you brought that up. No. Do you feel what I'm saying? Yeah. She's like acting all coy and shit. It feels like she's adjusted. She's a little bit more adjusted. She's being all like, yeah, I guess so. I guess it was me, not the council. Like that whole this being like almost like a hybrid of her with Ezekiel and her caroling.
She does look like she's in a better mood this week.
Mm-hmm. Did you like that?
I did. Yeah. I loved her hair. Oh my gosh, her wig was amazing. It was so beautiful.
Clearly, some time had passed. This is one thing I actually did have in my notes. It was 2 weeks from last episode, right?
From Diverged.
Yeah.
The thing that creeps me out a little bit is that was her hair that long in the last episode, or did
it was tied up in the last episode? We never saw it down.
Okay, but there is something significant about that.
Her wearing her hair down.
I feel like, right? I mean, the expression, letting your hair down. A little.
Yeah, and it was so nice and like brushed and like smooth and shiny.
Not to be all shallow, but yeah. I mean, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying
I do hair.
Well,
of course I'm going to notice it.
It's supposed to signal something to the viewer that, like, okay, she's more adjusted. She's fairer, let's say. She's fairer skin. Because sometimes people will make people look uglier or dirtier to illustrate, I'm beat down. I'm not quite myself.
Well,
right?
Just like she was in Diverged. I mean, like you said, I mean, her hair was up, but it was kind of like falling out. She was covered in plaster. She was disheveled. So in this episode, we see her put back together. Her hair's nice. She's like, hey, I'm back.
Maybe destroying the wall helped.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got it out of my system, right? So, that's great.
Yep.
She has a brand new band now that plays out of that garage because she soundproofed the walls.
And Jerry,
what would that band sound like?
Jerry plays bass.
Of course, yeah. Okay, you're gonna typecast the big guy as the bass player. What if he plays drums?
I almost said drums because I could see Jerry on drums, but I think he's got a funky bass line. Mm-hmm.
What does Carol play? No, Carol just stands there.
Carol's on the keyboards.
Yep.
All right.
Or the tambourine.
God.
Oh no, even better. The triangle.
The triangle. Ugh. Fake instrument. Just kidding.
Give her the cowbell. More cowbell.
Jerry, give me another bass line. Anyway, sorry. I'm done.
We got it. The Apocalypse Band.
Yeah. Shittiest band in the world. What? Anyway. Look, she's good at everything. She's not going to be good at this.
I loved that line, too. Is this Carol seizing the reins type of situation from Negan? He knew.
Yeah.
I knew.
What's great about that is that, like, it's supposed to tell you, oh, this Negan's not gone. The one that reads people very well. All the scenes with them together, too, are just so electric. It's like these two, one knows what the other's thinking but doesn't say it out loud, Carol. The other says too much. But you appreciate both of them for what they are too. The one's sneaky. Like, yes, Carol's sneaky. Let's just put it out there. She's sneaky, but she does it for, for the greater good.
Yeah.
Negan is not sneaky. He is. One thing I love bringing back again is that, and we haven't said this in a long time, Negan is honest. I was going to say to a fault, but like to a quality. Like, one thing you can't fault him for is saying, this is what I believe now at the time. I might change my mind later, but I believe this now.
Yeah.
And you're going to get a whole earful of it. And it's weird because I kind of want to see more scenes with those two in them. There's this weird, gross thing where I'm like, in a way, these two people, like at this moment right now, understand each other best. And like, even if they might not like each other, I may be out of bounds, so you're going to strike me with a striking stick. At this moment, I feel like those two understand each other better than Daryl and Carol. Negan and Carol do get each other.
At this very moment, I would agree with you. But not forever. It won't be like that forever.
Well, from your lips to Gimple's ears, let's be real here. Even at the start of season 10, oh my God. Yeah, Sharon, you just said hashtag Cargan. Would it be like Neryl?
Necro.
Oh.
Or Neryl.
Necro.
That makes sense.
Carol Aids.
Oh, yeah. I can see a little wrestling going on. Anyway, so I almost can't remember Carol and Daryl actually having an honest moment though in all of season 10, even from the start, like when he fishes her out from the boat, right? I mean, it's weird because
I was going to say bonds,
but even then, it was false. There was shadiness going on, hiding the pills and stuff like that. Him knowing about it, letting it happen anyway, and like not calling her out on it. And, I mean, having her back, obviously. But is having someone's back enough too, right? Sometimes you have to call your friend out on your shit, right? On their shit. If you really love them, which he did. This is what I mean by this. Even back when they were searching for Sophia, he had no problem getting to his friend's face. Well, they weren't quite friends yet, but like he gave it to her all the time, and she appreciated it, even though it was hard for her at the time. And even then, from then on, they've been really forthcoming and honest. Carol didn't have to be kind of weird and just awkward. I mean, obviously they had a moment, they just had a fight. And Daryl, for the first time, is treading lightly instead of yelling in her face kind of thing, like in scenes past. It's just, I can't even recall the last time they've had this kind of, season 9, in the sanctuary, right? She comes to visit him, and they have this kind of really, that's the last moment that I've seen with them together. It was very touching and adorable, and she gives him the best advice. Maybe you're right. Maybe you need to speak up to Rick. You need to have your voice, and that's the basis of my analysis on him that time.
That was when she told him she was going to live with Ezekiel at the kingdom too, or had been.
Do you? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Be with that guy. Oh yeah. That corny. Like he was like, oh, that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got it. Yeah, but you got to do it.
Yeah.
Don't be an asshole. Do you? Don't worry about me. I'll be all right. You just gave me good advice. Come on, dude. But how different is that from like every single interaction between those two? Even the beginning episode where they're like, "Oh, let's go to New Mexico." That felt false. It felt weird. It felt like the beginning of the schism. Daryl's just kind of like, what are you talking about? All right, sounds good. Whatever, I don't believe you. Like, all right. No, it's good to be back, right? They're like, it's good to see you. I missed you, blah, blah, blah. But even from the start, when she jumped off the boat, she's like, Ezekiel, goodbye. Even Daryl's kind of like, oh, all right, hi. And then she jumps into his arms. He's like, I guess I'm doing this. I mean, it makes sense. I missed you. I did miss you. But obviously, Daryl's in a little different spot. He has the ASL book in his back pocket. There's something going on there. It feels like he's trying to try this thing out. And they're just in two different places. And I know I'm belaboring the point. I started off by saying Negan and Carol are like the two people that know each other, feel like they know each other best right now. But to illustrate the point that like, okay, really, there has been awkwardness between Daryl and Carol throughout this entire season, even before the Connie thing. As soon as one person feels like they can't be completely honest with the other person, I have this in my own life, is like when I feel like I need to tell a person that I care about some truth, or if I can't be fully open with that person, I don't feel good physically. I sound awkward to them. I can't quite speak to the way to them that I want to speak to them, right? And you see that throughout this entire season with these two people. But you don't see that with this weird scene with Negan and Carol. They're oddly comfortable with one another, as much as a fox and a wolf can be. You know? And yet they understand each other. There's like, this is easy. I get it. You don't like me. I don't like you, but I'll deal with you because I respect the hell out of you. I don't respect you, but I'm okay with you. You know, like I get you. I get why you do in a way. This is Carol to Negan. And Negan's to Carol's like, I respect. Is anything I'm saying making sense at all?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you hate me for it? A little? It's okay if you want to.
No, I don't. Okay, if I am mad about anything, it's that you're pointing out the truth. I don't like it when the truth is shoved in my face like this.
You're not going to get this anywhere else. SquawkyDead.com.
But you know what?
Wait, hold on a second.
That's right, Squawky Dead. But you know what? It's not going to stay like that for long. They're going to fix whatever this is. And okay, maybe not so much in Daryl's case, but Carol has a lot of personal fixing to do. So before she can even think about repairing anything with Daryl and their friendship, she has to be a whole person first. And it looks like she's off to a good start in this episode. She's looking better, she's smiling. I'm liking where this Carol is going.
You know what worries me the most is the same parallel that we drew with Lucille and Negan. I'm a little worried about what a well-adjusted Carol looks like, because what if that well-adjusted Carol realizes, oh, I've been putting way too much of my shit on this friendship. Or maybe part of a well-adjusted Carol is like, I don't need Daryl the way I think I need him all the time, which is a good thing. And maybe that allows them to be like good friends, but maybe not quite the way we perceived them initially, like soulmates.
It would be.
But if that means they're individually great on their own, why is that a bad thing? Like, if that means people are in different places, but they're great now, well, that can't be a bad thing.
Right.
That's why I worry a little bit, because I like the soulmates / kindred spirits / whatever you want to call those two. But for as long as they're not quite 100%, I'd rather have them be individually 100%, in my opinion, because that's what we all want. We all want these people to be their best selves.
Yeah.
But if depending on one another to be that doesn't get them there, then I would rather them not, sort of. And it would hurt, but it would be better if they were like whole, looking fair with the hair down. And it sucks, but I would rather them be great, you know, than to be constant pain or whatever.
Yeah, I like what you were saying, about a well-adjusted Carol. What would that look like? Well, first of all, I don't know that we've ever seen a well-adjusted Carol so far. Honestly, I mean, when we meet her, she's definitely not well-adjusted. Then she's looking for her daughter. Then it's, this thing. Then it's that. Then it's this. I mean, there's always one thing after the next. And then when she was happy at the kingdom, that was all a fantasy. So that's not even being really well-adjusted.
Was it a fantasy?
Of course it was.
A 6-year fantasy?
Of course it was. Pretending to be king and queen. I mean, there was a fair amount of fantasy to it, but...
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess.
But it was, again...
But you better watch your step.
Well, again, though, like, not
there was
totally
happiness.
well...
I mean,
right. There was there was happiness. But again, like, if she was well-adjusted, we didn't see it because we skipped over that time period anyway.
And that's good to point out, again, like we said last episode.
We haven't seen a well-adjusted Carol. If she were well-adjusted, and then you mentioned maybe she realizes she doesn't need Daryl the way she thought she does, I don't think that's a bad thing, because then this relationship can go from being codependent to actually a friendship. That would be a great thing.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And it may not look like the way we're used to because she has not been well adjusted. But maybe that's okay. Maybe they don't need to lean on each other. They don't have to be simpatico. They don't have to be locking arms as they kill walkers in a circle formation. Like that's okay. They know that they can, but they know they don't need to.
It's always better to want someone in your life than need them in your life.
We lost Lania.
Where did Lania go?
She has to feed the meter, the internet meter.
Oh no.
Could you imagine what that looks like?
I just pictured her like slipping dollars into her computer.
I was gonna say like there's like a billfold like right next to the router.
Yeah, like when you're at the grocery store and you got to slide your bills into the feeder thing, and it keeps spitting it back out, and you're like, just straighten it out and stick it back in there.
Wait, you're doing this thing,
flattening it out. Yeah, exactly.
Did you see what I was doing?
I could hear it. Yeah.
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 You're familiar with that sound.
I was doing it. I just didn't have any money in my hand.
I don't either. I just had a piece of paper.
Nice. Nice.
That's how sometimes I envision Sharondy's internet connection. No offense, obviously, because it's not your fault. It's nothing you could do. I guess we could keep going because we kind of have been. We've been steamrolling Alania all night.
I know.
We just have big.
Really
I have big personality.
I feel really bad.
Having her on the show is the equivalent of when Walmart posts a price lower than they intended to, but then now you have to honor that price. That's literally what we just did. He's like, oh well, we have to honor that. So here you are on the show. This is not good. This is not going to make it in the final edit. I know. It's not something very flattering to tell.
This will be on the cutting room floor.
But hey, I didn't kick her off. So hey, fuck you.
No.
Not you, but
the internet. Yeah, the internet.
The greater internet, fuck you. For judging me. Well, I love the points we've been making tonight, though, too. I knew I was going to bring up the paradox, sort of, in a way. Like, would she have wanted to be with him had she survived? It's like, I love you, but I can't stand you. You are the man I envisioned you to be, but that's for a world that's well-adjusted, not for this world. I can't stand you in this world. I love you. You took care of me, blah, blah, blah. That was for the old world. Yeah. This is the new world, bitch. You're not built for this.
Negan, who couldn't even kill a walker? Like, who is this guy?
Yeah. So this is exactly what I mean when I was trying to explain this whole thing. And it's cool to kind of think about it like really deeply. Like this is really the reason why she does this, I think, really. You need to know that you can't save everybody, including me. And if not for that gift, he would not have survived this world. You literally gave me the means to survive this world. And that's a lot to be thankful for.
What if what it really was a final fuck you for leaving me?
No, I don't think so. I did think about that, though. I did think about that.
Like, you left to go save me. You left to go save me, and I'm going to make sure you can't.
But yes, that's kind of what I'm saying, though. But I like the message that she left behind. And Sharon even touched on it, too. She said sorry. You're thinking Lucille's all sweet. I'm thinking Lucille's, like, savage. No, but sweet and savage. For 100% sure. Not, like, against him, but for him. Yeah. For his sake. Yeah. For his sake. To be savage. Kind of like he's saying, I'm not giving you a choice, I'm saving you. Yeah. She says, fuck you, I'm not giving you a choice.
You can't save me.
You're going to be the man that I want you to be now. Not the way I always thought you'd be, but the way I want you to be. And I think he kind of understands that too. This is why he anthropomorphizes the bat. Having that context makes Lucille give me strength so much more meaning. Right? Lucille, give me strength. Help me see red. Give me the power that I need to do the thing that I think you want me to do. It's so cool to have that context now because I never understood it, to be honest. I never understood it. I really didn't. I thought it was kind of cool, but I was like, but what does that mean? What does it mean?
This is okay. I'm going to bring up the moment that disappointed me in this episode. I'm just going to say a little bit because I wanted Lucille to be the first person Negan put down with Lucille.
Is that how it happened in the comic?
No. That's just what I wanted for the episode. I wanted that to be like how she got her name.
I see what you're saying, but given what they were trying to do, you're saying without context, like without seeing this episode, that's how you kind of wanted it to come down, or is that
during the episode? Yeah, while watching it, I thought he was gonna give her mercy with Lucille.
Or Walker version of her?
Well, yeah, Walker. Lucille with the bat. Yeah.
You know what's funny about what you're saying right now is that somebody had mentioned this before, keeping in mind my comments about being the man he needed to be for this world, not the man that she thought he was always going to be, even if he was an asshole philanderer. I think even seeing his wife the way that she was, having turned, didn't even have to kind of pull to Morgan, a little extra than Morgan, because Morgan didn't even bother, but he burned the house down rather than having to actually kill her, right? So he still wasn't the way she wanted him to be. It wasn't until he embraced this, I think, two sides of him, the saviors, the baseball team, the high school baseball team, that mode of trying to save people, embracing, I couldn't save Lucille, so let me save Franklin and his daughter. So let me do that. And then the more he gets into it, the more he embraces what he thinks Lucille wants him to be. And I think that comes in stages. I think that comes in layers. It doesn't come all at once. So this is why I don't think he was able to put her down. It's like he was still in the middle of it. It's still her. I think it's almost like not breaking a promise.
It was so sweet. How could he put her down?
Yeah. As long as it's like a reminder of her, he can't even bear to do that, to see red. It's like his kryptonite. It's like, I can't do it. It's you.
I get why he couldn't do it. I wanted him to. I wanted Lucille to be the first kill on the bat. That's all.
But then that wouldn't the bat not be Lucille? Like this is like another paradox. Like if he used Lucille the bat to kill Lucille the person, or to put down Walker Lucille, would that bat then be Lucille if Lucille killed Lucille? Right?
Yes,
like there's a little
absolutely, because now it's drenched in Lucille's blood and it's seeped into her, and now his Lucille is forever a part of Lucille because she's wood and it's soaked in.
Okay, here's me taking a 50,000 foot view and appreciating her comments. I get it. I do get it. What your logic is sound. You know, your truth, you're living it.
That's right.
I think from my point of view, there's like it's a little bit paradoxical. I think for as long as that person represents, I don't think he wants to put down that. I think he actually just kind of wants to keep the living or undead version of Lucille as Lucille. And I think he wants to transfer that to the bat, not by way of using her blood, because the blood, this is what I'm saying about Lucille, give me strength. Lucille is the living embodiment, two-handed grip of the man that she said by killing herself he needed to be to survive this world. And he feeds Lucille. That Lucille is alive. He feeds Lucille the red he sees in his eyes. You know, like, and so there is no dead Lucille. There's like that archetype that he transfers from Lucille to put in that bat and says that fucker deserved it. Like, so to use that on Lucille, he would never. That's what I'm saying, is like he would never. That would betray her. It's almost like when you see a mobster movie, they'll have like a wife, but then they'll also have a
girlfriend.
Yeah, like a girlfriend, right? Yeah, this is the woman I fuck. This is a woman I love. You know, like this is the woman I love. I'm not, and never the twain shall meet.
Right. Friday nights are for the wives. Saturdays are for the girlfriends.
Exactly. What are you talking about with the bat and hitting Lucille? Oh, God damn it! Come on, Rachel. Forget about it.
I get it.
Yeah. I get your logic.
I get it, and I totally understand everything you're saying, and it makes absolutely total sense. It was just a little nugget that I would have liked to see. That's
honey,
all.
I get the cut of your jib.
Yeah.
You embrace the macabre. It's macabre. It's what it is. Yeah. Is macabre. It's totally macabre. It's the more blood Nicotero.
That's me.
It's the ring Gimple. It's like if you get a call from Gimple, you're dying in 7 days. It's that's you.
It's the effects artist in me. Just wanted to see more blood.
Yeah, I get that. Can you imagine how audiences would have reacted to that, though? Holy shit. They would have been like, I don't know if I like this.
They better have their shitting pants on.
Because it's happening. And my version of the story is happening. I like that you brought that.
He would have been sad about it. I mean, he would have been sad about it. He would have been crying. It would have been devastating for him. Yeah, it would have been devastating for him. But, you know, I don't know. That's just my own personal
oh my God. Thing. I just had this thought, like, you are so beautiful to me. Ooh, that's an eyeball. That's an eyeball. I'm doing this right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, see? Perfect. Yes. That's how it should have went down.
I don't know. Perfect is the right word to use.
Perfect for me.
Right. We'll go with that. I love it. I'm so glad you said this. All of this is gold. I don't know. It's not going to fit on the clip, but I'll make it fit.
Oh, that's awesome. Just you singing. And whacking. Yeah.
Boom, boom.
That's the clip right there.
God. It's so weird. But it was sweet, though, wasn't it?
It was sweet.
This is why I like karaoke nights too, by the way. I obviously know how to sing. I think you sort of know how to sing too, right? Yeah, you have a good voice. So we muses and gods, when we go into the karaoke thing, we kind of just hang back. We kind of want other people to just while out, right? Like, even if they're not great, lean in. Just have fun. I hate the people that go, I don't know how to sing. And I'm like, bitch, get on the mic. I don't care how you sound. The whole point is to have fun. God, you're such a drag. I'm never going to invite you to karaoke again, says the person who knows how to sing.
Right. On the flip side of that, I'm sure you've been to karaoke nights where you've heard people that you wish would just shut up.
Let's distill that to a specific type of person. It's the
Drunk?
person who... Yes, but the person who thinks they sound fantastic. It's usually those people. Those people are just get on my nerves. It's when you're kind of like, I don't care how I sound. I'm okay with that. I don't care. I'm just having fun. I'm leaning in. I'm pointing at people in the crowd. I'm like, oh, I can get behind that. I can get... But the person who like takes it really seriously and is not and thinks they're good and then they have the gall to play something that's very long.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's what gets my goat every time.
I don't mind those people because I'm usually sitting in my seat like this. No, I'm
so you're
talking
saying it's the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I don't mind those people that think they're amazing, but really we're all just looking at each other like, oh my God, oh my God. No, I'm talking about the 3 drunk chicks falling all over each other who get up and sing Sweet Caroline. That's what I can't stand.
Even I don't mind that, but this is what will annoy me. I don't even know if it's midway into the song. It doesn't even have to be because usually it isn't. They'll just stop singing.
Yes!
They'll just go, that's the thing.
And then they just walk away and you're like, okay. Yes.
And then you start getting annoyed at the guy. He's like, dude, they left. You can stop the song. Nobody's singing it. They're all upset that they didn't bother. They just wanted to be on stage for that 1 second. Hey, aren't we good? Isn't this fun? Okay, let's...
We did it. Ha 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 ha.
And this could be one person, whatever. But like, then the people that choose a song that they don't, even if the words are on the screen, they just can't sing the words that aren't the chorus. It's like,
yeah,
you gotta put a little effort. But it dovetails.
Find the pocket.
Right. It dovetails. Even if you make up the words, I'm okay with you making up the words. I don't care. That's okay. But if you're like,
could be funnier.
I worked so hard to lose it all. Like they're like looking at the screen or they're looking down like
just waiting.
The words are there, buddy. Say them wrong. I don't care.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Charity's like, I'm singing, but you can't hear me. Good.
Awesome.
Good. See? There you go.
Awesome.
That's fine. There's some effort you gotta put. There's some effort. You gotta, when you go up there, perform. This is the anal performer part of me. That's like the stage is holy. It's been blessed. It's been blessed by the gods. Treat it right.
I used to karaoke Aerosmith, and I would bring my own scarf to tie around the microphone stand.
Oh.
I was
soulmates?
I was that girl.
Are we soulmates?
Maybe. That one really got away from us.
You're going to ask me right now, what did I mind that there was a pre-apocalypse flashback? But I kind of addressed it already.
We talked about it a little bit. You talked about the necessity of it, and like the pre-apocalypse flashback was to show the origin of the leather jacket. So it had purpose.
Sort of like what I was saying last week. There's a little bit of a parallel with Rick in respect to that. Like, again, showing this stark difference between the two characters. One is a police officer, serving justice, and like the other's just a shitbag everyman. Yeah, shitbag everyman gym teacher, which I respect. Again, like I think part of like watching the show is respecting like journeys.
I just remembered 2 years ago, my high school gym teacher was arrested for public intox. This was way after I graduated, but I knew him and his wife.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning of the episode, can we?
Yes, I was gonna go there too.
Stark contrast from the rest of them, and maybe a lot of TWD episodes. No previously on, no intro to the character. What did we see? We saw Maggie taking little Herschel down the street, Herschelry, showing him Alexandria at the butt crack of dawn, and Negan is out there. Now, what do you think was meant to be told by introducing the episode that way?
That Maggie and Negan are in Alexandria at the same time. Just those two seeing each other was chilly enough. But then you throw in the song that they're singing, which was You Are My Sunshine, which of course takes us back to when Carl sang it for Negan as he's swinging Lucille around at the sanctuary. This was after Carl snuck in the truck, followed them there, shot a bunch of guys. Negan made him take his bandage off and show him his eye, and then he made him sing for him. Yeah. And you know Negan heard it, because when Maggie says good morning to Barbara, Barbara's right there next to Negan, and Maggie does not raise her voice any, and Barbara can hear her. So you know Negan hears this song.
I'm actually kind of wondering, because Maggie doesn't know that he did that.
No.
That Carl did. Or maybe he said something about it. I don't know. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
He made me sing You Are My Sunshine. Like, come on, don't be a pussy bitch. You know you didn't tell anybody about that. But
right.
Anyway, now I got it in my system. I can't stop saying pussy.
I don't think it was for Negan's benefit.
But there's some irony to it.
But he would remember that. Absolutely, because he loved Carl.
And I can see why that would maybe send him down this path of thinking back. Well, I think it's also
how
Maggie,
did I get here, right? Like,
right,
how did I get here?
And how do I get in this situation? The very situation of where, like, people are starting to think of me again as this brute. I'm among people who I'm unhireable, and yet here I am. That where he was pre-apocalypse kind of thing. Now I'm Negan Everyman again. Ooh. But it's also Maggie. I can see, and there's this weird parallel between Lucille and Maggie. Maggie, the take no shit Maggie that, by the way, I had no idea how many people did not like Maggie.
Really?
I really didn't. I really did. I'm like ignorant, and yet I'm seeing it come out of the woodwork from all our certain segments of our bubble.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, part of me is like, kind of like, I want to defend her. I'm like, bitch, you step in her shoes. All that she's been through, and then having the capability to lead her people to greatness, even in the face of people being like, yo, this bitch be scary, but our bellies are fed, or we're thriving, so I don't have the guts to stand up to her kind of shit. Like, you become the enemy that you end up eradicating. Like, also like seeing her as kind of like a Gregory, like,
Ooh.
Ruling with an iron fist, my way or the highway,
Yeah.
I mean, not quite, but like, still, how good you have it until it's taken away from you.
Maggie's not my favorite character, but I don't hate her by any means. I would defend her as a character, but I definitely don't agree with all her decisions. I mean, she's flawed like the rest of us.
Don't get me wrong. Initially, when season 9 rolled around and we were talking about taming wild horses, then we started getting into what she had to do to keep Hilltop thriving. Mm-hmm. I was not about it. I was not about it at all. I was upset at her going against Rick's vision of trying to build coalitions and to keep this thing up and have cooperation to keep up the sanctuary and the people and the saviors. And I was like, look, they followed the wrong guy. They backed the wrong horse. They shouldn't all have to die. And we still don't know what happened to them. But then part of me was just kind of like, but I get it. You got to give each settlement the right to figure out how they want to lead. And if a leader decides they don't want to lead their community to ruin in order to support another, part of me is like for that. It's like, this is the apocalypse still. Come on, people. This is mathematics 101. It's like 1 + 1 = 2. If I give you 1, my community has less than 1. So I was just like, yeah, I get you, Maggie. It took me a while, but I was just like, I tried to understand it because we're Rick Stan. We come out of the box Rick Stans. The box includes batteries, aka us liking Rick. It's not fair.
Yeah.
But if you take a moment to think about it, it's like, well, yeah, I can like Rick, but I can also appreciate Maggie's position. You know what? And this is the problem. And it's good that we're talking about this now because I don't think we've really properly addressed it. Just like we didn't see Carol in the Magic Kingdom, being thriving as it's in a 6-year-long marriage, we also didn't see the time jump from when Negan fell to when we saw him in the cage, all fucked up, like with the big beard, and somebody cut their hair really badly, like cutting skin. We didn't see that time jump, so we didn't get to see Maggie and Hilltop thrive. We didn't get to see all the politics happening back and forth. We didn't get to see the sanctuary crumble. We didn't get to see the Hilltop thrive. We didn't get to see all the hidden angst that Gregory had between he and Maggie. And we also didn't get to see her at all for throughout this. It seems like, by the way, 12 years into the apocalypse is pretty accurate. 12 years and 7 months. Yeah, that's a long time, isn't it? Which, by the way, lends credence to our theory about April 2008, possibly. Didn't your tits get a little jiggle from that? Mine did.
I did.
Seriously.
I did get pretty excited, and it was it Charity? Wasn't it Rebecca Punch? She had said May of 2008 was her timeline. Yeah. But
it also proves another theory. By the way, this thing didn't all happen at once. This gradually grew over time, not quite exponentially, that at some point it became unmanageable. It actually goes to the nature of the show because it makes sense that people would ignore it. Just like in the radio program, he was saying like the attackers or the criminals would bite the flesh of their victims, and so it's just like, no, bitch, zombies roam the earth. So like it would make sense that they would just ignore it and ignore it and ignore it until like it was staring them at the face and then eating your face. I mean, we were all like, oh, it's 10 years. It's 10 years. I'm like, well, 10 years might have been like after baby Coco was born and then some. Like now we're in a brave new world. I was saying maybe 11 years.
Well, I think
12 years and 7 months.
I would say when we jumped ahead 6 years, that put us at 10 years. From the time jump to the point we are now has been another 2 years.
Well, I was guessing the time jump put us at 9 years because then you had from that point until the Pikes, you had another several months, I want to say, because when was Coco born? After the Pikes, right? I have to assume because there was another big time jump from then.
Yes.
Okay.
It was after the Pikes. Now, see, all of my timelines are based on Judith.
Yeah, I know, partially, yeah. At least from my end. Yeah.
So when we did the time jump, I had to guesstimate that, and I guessed Judith was about 10, about 9 or 10 years old after that time jump. So if you take into account all of Lori's pregnancy, then giving birth, then before the baby turns a year old, it would time out.
The key thing to helping this out is knowing how long Rick was in the hospital, even after the fall happened. Mm-hmm. And I think it was about 2 months.
Yeah, I was going to say 8 weeks, yeah.
And I think the time he wakes up is exactly when, not like exactly when technically Fear the Walking Dead starts a little bit. I think maybe even when he goes into the hospital, I think is when it starts. We could get stuck here all day, but it's just it's fascinating to note. It's fascinating to note how going from thinking like, 10 years and 7 months, maybe 11 years and 3 months or something like, no, it's 12 years and 7 months, buddy. Maybe 6, whatever. I don't know. Whatever the span of time is from the time the jacket thing happened to when she got her diagnosis. Because there might have been some time between that, I think. And I think there was.
And he was out and about searching for medicine for 6 weeks. So that's another month right there.
And a half.
Yeah. And a half. Oh, yeah, that's another month and a half there.
God, that's rough, man. And I was thinking about that. Think about that passage of time. It's so rough. Finding the medicine and then being held captive for like 2-3 days.
Yeah, and who knows how long he was in the storage closet for.
And then you can see why he would come back, not only to save these people, that he ratted out.
I'd have killed all those guys, yeah.
Because I'm sure there's a part of him that's saying, but maybe between those 2-3 days, that's when she decided to do it.
Oh, yeah. If he would have been there then.
But then that would have been just him also saying, nah, man. Nah. It would be the alternative to him actually saying, no, she did this as soon as I left. But he's in denial. So you see people do this all the time. Instead of blaming themselves, they get neurotic and they blame the world. Rather than putting this shit on yourself and saying, I should have never left her. I should have never left her. I should have heard her voice when she was saying stay. I should have known that that's what it meant. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here because you need to be the man I want you to be. Anyways, the man that needs to be the man in the apocalypse should have stayed. This is the weird irony. Her saying, if he would have stayed, let's play that game. If he would have stayed with her and been with her in the end, I don't think he would have been that man. I don't know that he would have. Let's play this game, though. Could he have been a better man? Could he have been something more akin to a Rick?
Would he have just offed himself without her?
Well, let's play that. Yeah, this can go a lot of ways, right?
If he had stayed with her and she succumbed to cancer, I think he would have blamed himself maybe even
for
more.
not saving her?
Yeah. And now he's surviving with this guilt.
But maybe that guilt could have transformed too.
Could have.
Maybe not to rage. I think he would have died eventually anyway, but I think he would have died trying to save others. Let's just say, because it seems like he was a good guy. This is like the classic good intentions kind of scenario. Like, okay, good intentions can get you only so far. It doesn't give you that extra thing that you need to survive the zombie apocalypse. Say if Glenn didn't have others, would Glenn have survived? Maybe for a while. Until he met like a governor or Shane even on his own.
Oh gosh.
But then did you have the stones to live in this world? I don't know. I don't know. But my suspicions and my experience say you need that little extra, or at least a lot of people. It's fun to play this out because had he stayed, he would have been the man that she always wanted him to be, but not the man he needed to be. So I think maybe in a way she knew he was going to go anyway also. So
maybe
this is like the opportunity to kind of make him the man he was going to be to survive. I'm not going to stick to my guns on this series. I just think it's nice to play with though, because it's like all of these things coming together make this all happen. And had Negan not happened, Judith wouldn't have been saved and in the storm. And we play this game all the time. It's like, what if Negan wasn't in the picture? Well, they wouldn't have survived the Whisper onslaught. I mean, there's a lot of things that would have been survivable had Negan not been in the picture. Again, you go through a lot of shit to do it, but anything's possible.
Did you happen to notice what book Negan was reading to Lucille?
Oh, was it Pride and Prejudice?
It was Pride and Prejudice.
Well, Talking Dead talked about that.
Oh, I didn't watch Talking Dead.
Oh, you should have, because they gave us a chock full of fucking Easter eggs.
I just did notes right before I got on here. Well,
the writer of this episode, David Leslie Johnson, McGoldrick, written by David Leslie Johnson. He was the actual person on the radio announcing the victim, the attackers bite the flesh of its victims, and that was actually a bite off of a soundbite. He was like citing Night of the Living Dead, what they say on the radio.
Quoting?
Yeah.
Are you trying to say quoting?
Well, I mean, now it's, yes, quoting, yes. Using the same words as that radio announcer.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
I just see no value in going into all this stuff because it's, here people watch Talking Dead. And if you don't watch Talking Dead, we'll put it in the blog or something. I don't know.
I usually do. I just missed this one was all. I didn't realize they talked about Pride and Prejudice. I was all excited because Sharon and I Googled the character names and figured it out.
Oh no, you guys need to watch Talking. Well, part of what is funny about the version of Pride and Prejudice that he's reading, it's Pride and Prejudice and zombies. It's not Pride and Prejudice.
Okay, I didn't say this at the time, but I was going to I told Sharon I've never read Pride and Prejudice, so I'm not familiar with it. I didn't know it. I'm like, the only Pride and Prejudice I know is Pride and Prejudice and zombies.
Which I think he had a hand in, if I'm not mistaken. But that's the funny one. That's what he's reading, and that's what makes it even funnier when he goes, "I can't read this. This is just awful. it's just awful."
I love that he calls her Mama. Mama, this shit sucks.
He's just like, oh. Yeah. It was great that they had David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick on Talking Dead because he was able to give you all these, even the biker gang's outfit name, Valak's Vipers, Valaks. Oh, and of course, Lucille's wearing the Half Moon shirt.
When?
I think near the beginning.
No, I can't say I paid attention to her shirts. I was distracted by her hair. I'll have to go back and look for that. I did not notice the Half Moon t-shirt.
Watch Talking Dead! I do want to just go through this one, because now it's like the thorn in my side.
Are you talking about the other project with the Valak's Vipers?
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. It has its own wiki article in the Walking Dead wiki. Alex Vipers are a group of hostile survivors introduced in season 10 of AMC's The Walking Dead. They're a motorcycle gang led by Craven. They served as the primary antagonistic group of the episode Here's Negan. They're from Ohio originally. Nothing's known about the Alex Vipers prior to the outbreak again, other than it's a motorcycle gang that was either based in or had a chapter in Ohio. Again, I think they are in Virginia, obviously from the license plate from Lucille, but they originate from Ohio. Alex Vipers are named after the demon Valak, who is the main antagonist of The Conjuring 2, which David Leslie worked on. I just needed to get it right. Oh, you spoke about Barbara earlier. Did you know that Barbara is literally one of the only original members of Alexandria left?
I cannot say I remember Barbara, and now I feel bad. Now you're making me feel bad that I don't remember Barbara.
It's okay. You and me only came online when we're like, oh, where's Birdie? Where's Marisol? Where's Beatrice? Like,
where's Scott?
You're talking about like exactly, yeah. Who is another original Alexandrian resident?
Yeah.
But like we didn't kind of come online into the background. I'm just speaking for both of us here. I didn't come online with the background actor scene until we really started doing this sort of thing more often.
That's
better
true.
often.
That's true.
Like we were like, oh, Oscar, what was his name? Oscar, oh God, I can't remember his name now. Remember the guy that played Oscar on the TV as the background character?
I can see him in my head. I know exactly who you're talking about.
He might have gotten taken down in Morningstar, just like William Bell and like Marco, but Marco was more heralded. I think it was this weird. He got this weird fanfare before season 9 came out. Like the actor who plays Marco,
Gustavo Gomez.
For some reason, he got some hype, like a lot of hype into season 9, and then like nothing happened.
Probably from me.
You remember what I'm talking about, right? No, this is from like media.
Oh,
I read shit. I don't read your thing to get news.
Clearly not.
No, otherwise I would have known. Oh, he's very important.
I'm always asking, where's Marco? Where's Marco?
Polo, right. It's a requirement. I have to say it. So, okay, we got Barbara out of the way. Cool. And she speaks. Great. Awesome. She took care of Judith in her infancy. That's another role. Something to remember. This is how important Barbara is to surviving. If Barbara dies, it's almost symbolic of old Alexandria dying, which is why she's still alive, probably. But love this line. Negan Smith needed Negan at this time. Maybe one of the only times a character on The Walking Dead didn't turn out the way he was meant to be. Maybe the only other time is Rick, but let's get into this because the example is in the cabin right before they go into the flashback. He's talking to his shitbag self, like not the shitbag, the Negan that sees red. And he says, "You're a cult of personality with no cult. You needed to be this guy. You're a fucking clown. I wish I could have been a version that could survive this world without you." He sees it because we need to go into the greater reason of why he finally puts Lucille to rest. First of all, why he finds her in the first place, because I think he's a man adrift. Again, he's having a midlife crisis, post-apocalypse now, and he's trying to find his version of a leather jacket, which is Lucille the Bat. I don't blame him for doing this. I don't think it's gonna be for the same reason that we might suspect it might be. It's like, oh, Negan be Neganing. No, he's just having an identity crisis. I've said this about Carol before too. Like when you go on this vengeance quest, let's say, and you just knock down stone soup and rats and peel away drywall, and just to get at Alpha, or I mean the rat. What now? Who do you become now after all this? You need to carve out what that person looks like. This is a lot of what I say about people who have this kind of like activist agenda, activism all the time kind of thing. What happens when you get whatever it is you're seeking? What now? Find the next thing? Mm-hmm. What do you do with your life when you're done? Or is this something that just this anger at whatever it is going to be it this cause, be it that cause? What happens at the end of that? We've achieved world peace. No, we have to find the next thing. So this is kind of what Negan's going through. He's like, okay, the Whisperers are dead. I'm carving a path in Alexandria, and then now I'm reaching a roadblock with Maggie. But even still, Maggie's an excuse. It doesn't help matters, but it's kind of an excuse. I don't think he knows who he is. You could say Maggie's the thing that's not letting him be the Alexandrian he wants to be. That's not true. I don't think so.
I feel like by the end of this episode, he does remember exactly who he is. I still felt like I had to keep one eye on him. I still don't trust him. And that smirk, you called it a smile earlier, but I saw a smirk towards Maggie. And what I heard him thinking, I heard his thoughts out loud, and he said, try it. Try and kill me.
This is why I say you should watch Talking Dead, because there were many takes of that last scene looking at Maggie. One was intense, one was this, one was that. They happened to choose the one of like 7 takes probably, the one where he's smirking at Maggie. Otherwise, there's no clear direction of how he's supposed to look at Maggie, or Maggie's supposed to look at him. So he kind of chose that as one of the takes, and that's the take they chose, which does give the scene a little bit more context, because I always think these guys love open-ended things. Like, what do you think that means? Well, I don't think it means what you think it means. Mm-hmm. And I think we kind of wrote it that way, so we have to figure it out by the end of it. So, but I choose to think that actually it is this hybrid version of being the man that he was with Lucille when she was alive, and being the man that Lucille needed him or wanted him desperately to be without her being alive. Yeah. And I think part of what that is saying to himself, instead of, I'm not going to walk on eggshells anymore. I know what I brought to the table when I say I know I didn't do it the way you would have done it. I know I didn't save the world the way you would have done it. It's kind of like Carol. Let's just be honest. I'm not going to apologize for saving your asses. I'm not going to apologize for doing the right thing. What do I have to apologize for? I saved lives. I love Judith. I mean, let's be honest here. I saved Judith. I'm going to do it again and again. And you're not going to stop me. You can be uncomfortable all you want. You just have to deal with it. I'm not going to get in your face about it, but I'm not going to just walk all over eggshells. I know what value I have. I know the man I want to become, at least. I don't know if I'm there yet. Let's just be real here. Negan doesn't know who he is still, but at least he has a better idea of like, I'm putting this bat to rest because I don't need to see red to know what it takes to live in this fucking apocalypse. I think there's that part of it. Beyond that, I don't think even he knows what that means. I don't think even he knows what that takes. Yeah. But I do know that he's done apologizing. He's still going to build houses. He's still going to do this. But he's not going to shy away. He's going to be like, "Hey, bitch, what's up?" He's like, deal with it. No. You don't have to forgive me, but you have to live with me. Yeah. I belong here. It's like Daryl when he says, "I know where I belong." Carol, what about you?
I don't know if I'm ready to say that Negan won't see red again, or even that he doesn't want to be that guy. I think Negan is content knowing that he could be that guy anytime he needed to be. I'm not comfortable yet saying what he wants about anything.
I'm going to say this. I feel you. Because in the back of my mind, always Negan be Negan. Right, fine.
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Because I have to keep that in mind. That's Angela Kang right there. It's my medulla oblongata. But like, narratively speaking, on the written word page, he says to himself, "You're a clown. You're a cult of personality without a cult. As of now, you're a fucking joke. The fact that I had to be you to survive this thing makes me sick. It's not what my wife would have wanted. She wanted to be tough. She didn't want to be this guy. Not only was I that, I was the guy that cheated on her. And not only that, I cheated on her. Like, I don't know how many wives I had. Like, I had so many wives that this is what I'm saying, though. This is what I'm saying is that he took that seeing red and took it further. He said, 1 wife, 9 wives. Fine, I make up the rules as I go along. As long as everybody's in fucking line, I'm the person that steers the ship. And don't you get any fucking ideas. Even if I smell that there might be an idea that you think you want to live without me, no, you don't get to live without me. I'm going to make you depend on me. This is how this ship runs. That's not a loving relationship. That's not a marriage with Lucille. But he embraced that part of him to be the man he needed to be to survive this apocalypse. It's almost resentful of Lucille, too. I'm everything that you wanted me to be, right? Lucille, give me strength. And yet there's like a resentfulness. Like, it does give context to his actions. It's like, it's almost resentful. Like, she took the easy way out. Fuck you. I was trying to keep you alive. And so like, okay, fuck you. This is how I'm going to live my life now. Fuck you, Lucille. You want to be strong? Here, taste some blood. Taste some blood, Lucille. There's a little sick kind of like, you know how some people get that way? Like, oh, I fooled you. You know when you get to your parents, you're like, you sneak out in the middle of the night, like when you're not supposed to?
Sure.
Plenty of times.
Sorry,
but there's
Mom.
a certain satisfaction. You get back home, right? You get back home and you're like, fucking did that. Fuck you. Fuck you. I beat you. And you'll do it again and again. You'll double down until you finally get caught. But like, still, you'll keep going. Keep going until you get caught.
I snuck out more from my friends' houses than I did my own. I could probably count on one hand how many times I snuck out of my own house.
But going to your friend's house made it that much easier to do it, right? Because you weren't in the vicinity.
Because my mom wasn't there.
Right. And you know what? You do that because you're like, fuck you and your rules. Like, fuck this shit.
What are you going to do at midnight on a set? What are you going to do at midnight outside your house? Nothing. We did nothing. Yeah. It was just to be out. It was just to be defiant.
It was just to be fuck you. Yeah. But that's Negan in a nutshell. There's no world in which I don't think there's context to everything that he does. There's that resentfulness. How dare you leave me after me trying to save you? How dare you? Fuck you then. I'm going to get 5 million wives and I'm going to treat them like shit. And that's the irony is that I'm going to get these wives. I don't even know if he's been with them, to be honest, like in the show. Yeah. I don't know about the comic book, but whatever. I don't know shit about the comic book. I don't care. It doesn't matter anymore.
You don't need to. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Just imagine Sherry, right? Just imagine Sherry. Like, he keeps us around. He doesn't fuck us. Like, he just wants to own us. Right? Like, he just wants us as property, just so that nobody touches us.
And I could see that. Now, having this backstory, I could see that version of Negan, too. Because, like you said, you don't need to know his backstory of the comics because it is different. It is very different. Because things happened on the show the way they did, we have a different Negan than the one from the comic books. Absolutely.
But it's definitely like a Negan that makes more sense. 100%. You can understand that Negan. Negan was a good man that made one too many mistakes and lost himself along the way pre-apocalypse. Instead of being the man he was meant to be, he leaned into his mistakes. He had multiple wives that he didn't care for and that their original husbands never would. So like he's almost making the husbands be like him. Mm-hmm. Because now you can't treat your woman right. Now I'm making you into me. So I am Negan. He rewarded the strong and took from the weak in exchange for safety. The loss of his wife made him a savior, but the kind we deserved rather than what we wanted. Oh, I'm going to do whatever I want. You'll be safe, but this is my playground. And all because my wife fucking left me before I wanted her to. That's what it makes so much more sense now. But what I was going to say about Negan, and this kind of ties it all in a bow, the name Negan is like the end name of a Gaelic surname, let's say. So like there's Finnegan, Dunnigan, Nigan, Negan. What does Negan mean? One. So it's like the bright one.
Oh, I see.
The dark one. So Negan is one. I am Negan. We are Negan. Or one. I am Negan. We are one. Mm-hmm. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Which makes sense why he dropped the Smith. It's like Negan Smith. Oh, okay. That doesn't make no sense.
Yeah.
That was the everyman. I'm not the everyman. I'm the one now. I'm Prince.
Right? Yeah.
I'm just Negan.
I'm Seal.
I'm David. No, I'm just David.
I'm Cher.
I'm Sharondy. That actually makes sense, actually.
I'm Madonna. I got excited because I remembered the last thing that I have on my list to bring up. Lindsay Register, right. So excited to see Lindsay.
The origin of Laura. I like that she had like more of a backstory that we could sink our teeth into, too. It's like that's her dad, technically.
Yeah. I also like that she had the tattoo on her neck already, too. That wasn't something that happened after she got with Negan. Yeah. I thought that was cool.
She had made sure, I remember this from like one of the first interviews I've ever heard with her. This was on Jamie. You know Jamie, Jami?
Heart Still Beating?
That's the first interview I heard of with Laura. And one of the things she said was she made it a concerted effort for that tattoo to be something from her past, like pre-apocalypse, part of her upbringing. So it's fitting, and I'm glad they continued the continuity on that. That was something from before. You're supposed to see that tattoo. And then she had a string of interviews after that with a bunch of other people, but that was the first one. She had nailed the first interview, and it's a really good one. You should definitely listen to it. There's something cool about these people that she meets, and then obviously there's an inference that like he comes back and Laura is basically one of the founding people of the Sanctuary. She gave him the bat. Obviously this takes the place of Dwight's part of the story. I know that specifically in the comic books, the inspiration of Daryl. It's just like this Dwight character from this here's Negan, and they meet up in the woods, and Dwight has the crossbow. Dwight looks literally kind of like Daryl. But what's fitting about that is I know that they meant to get Austin Milio, but he was too busy filming Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh.
But they said to themselves, hey, let's bring this character back and give her more of a rich story. And I think that was a good move, to be honest. And somebody actually said this, I think, on Talking Dead. It's like if we had brought Dwight back for that scene, I felt like it would have taken away from Negan's story. They would break out of focusing on that being Negan's story and saying, oh, well, there's Dwight's origin too. Oh, yeah. It's like if we would have seen Simon, right?
Okay.
It would have broken us a little bit out of it and be like, oh, well, the focus is now being taken away. Just kind of like Fear the Walking Dead episode 608, breaking the focus away from this entire episode. Laura, a little bit more low key. Our eyes light up, but we don't know as much as we'd like about her to be like, oh, but no, we're like, oh, yeah, again, she's back. Like fighting Beta that one time. Yeah, okay. But it's cool. It's cool when we recognize somebody.
It makes sense why Laura is so loyal to Negan, too.
And even revered by Negan.
And not a wife.
Yeah. Wow. Could you imagine?
Right.
That would have been too much.
Too weird, given the backstory.
Let's think about that for a little bit, though. If things had gone a little differently, like maybe he would have stayed. I don't know. They couldn't have gone differently. There was no reason for him to meet up with the mobile unit if he would have stayed with Lucille till the end. Because I was thinking to myself, like, oh, but yeah, like if anybody at all, why not her? Because that would have allowed him to find his way back and still maybe be this kind of badass, but didn't have to see red, didn't have to have all the wives, didn't have to run things by brute force for the sake of safety to keep people in line. I don't know, but that is something to maybe chew on. Also, she's a lot stranger things have happened, but like seems a little young for a man like Negan. Like I'm talking about 20 years his junior.
20 years is not unheard of.
No, right. But yes. I'm thinking like at the time he was probably in his 40s.
When they meet,
And then 10 to 12 years later he's in his 50s. That jives, right?
Yeah,
and
I think
she is in her early 20s.
My cousin got married when she was 26 and her husband was 49.
Woo! Double her age almost.
So, love knows no age.
No, you knew what you wanted to say. You were going to say age ain't nothing but a number. Look, obviously there are exceptions. I'm like 8 years apart from my wife. Now I'm going to get canceled again. Whatever.
And
Fuck you guys.
and they're still together and they have 5 sons. So it works.
Oh, wow.
It works, people.
Wow. Going back to the point, Lauren, he, I thought that could be something interesting. Like even like especially over time, let's say.
If they started up a thing, I would want it to be like just the two of them. I wouldn't want Laura to be one of the wives. I would want her to be the wife. Yeah.
And that would make sense. Like especially being the person, this good person with a good dad trying to do good things. It could have been it, right? It could have been. It's good to mention this out loud because I'd said this to Kirsten Acuna when she was reflecting on on this episode, not directly, but just mentioning that like, oh, this is the last of 22 episodes of season 10. It's like, and just thinking about it being this far into the Walking Dead main show, and it's like, oh, knowing that the next season's gonna be the last one. She was just reflecting, and I was like, isn't it wild? Like I said, isn't it wild that like we got all this show and we were able to be lucky to have these bonus episodes, and thinking about so many different things that we may have looked at one way when it started, and then we look back on it and we look a little bit differently, let's say at Andrea or even at Lori or Dale. Even like we loved Dale, but then like by the end of it we're like, I get why he wasn't meant to be here. I totally get it. I get why he was there, because it makes us feel certain things. It makes us want to hold on, right? I know.
I hated Dale.
I love Dale. See, I hated Andrea. And you probably had it the opposite, right?
Nope, I hated Andrea too.
Oh, okay. I was
glad when they both died. Yep.
But you get what I'm saying. Certain people are like shooting stars. They're here for a little while and they burn brightly in your heart. But even after they burn brightly, you remember them differently. Like you remember these people differently. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, it makes you sad, but like at the same time, you're like, I get it. He wasn't meant for this world. Or she wasn't meant for this world. Even though she had the right idea, she wasn't meant for this world. Shane had the somewhat of a right idea, but didn't go about it the right way. The person that he was meant to be was kind of a dangerous person, to be honest.
I think Shane would have been perfectly fine if Rick didn't come back.
I think Shane would have been perfectly fine had he not loved Carl. Like, to be honest, if he could detach from Carl, he could be something else in this world. Like, he could be this incredible person. And I think it's kind of cool that Carl was there in this world, you know, and then obviously with Carl, though, comes the Rick baggage. So you can't be who you want to be or who you're meant to be, Shane. It's too bad you had that humanity, that peace that dragged you down like an anchor, man. We thought you were a psychopath, but at the same time, you did have a heart. And that's what got you killed, really. Carl got you killed. Why do I say this? Because I had this interesting idea about the what if. Tales of the Walking Dead could be not only little anthology tales or little random tales, like people we don't even know, just random tales from the apocalypse that are these self-contained narrative stories.
Like the Althea tapes.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the Twilight Zone, more to the point. Like the Althea tapes are taken from this one narrow setting that doesn't move, but like Tales of the Walking Dead could be this like Twilight Zone-esque episode where you get the breadth and feeling of an entire story, but like in 40 minutes, you know, and it's all done by the end of it. But it could be something where one episode every season, let's say, you would get a what if episode. And the shame about that being is that we kind of got that with Michonne. And there's a danger of people going like, oh, but like, are we going to do this? It's a shame because you want it, right? You want that what if episode, that journey of like, what if Negan had, you know, married Laura, let's say. How would that have turned out in the greater context?
How would that happen, though? Are you saying like to just put out an episode as if it did happen, or would this be like a vision like Michonne had within another episode?
I would say full-on butterfly effect.
Oh,
like,
man.
Instead of the Michonne Jimson weed trip, right? Where it was a tiny thing in a greater thing. No, this would be the thing. That would be the entire episode.
The whole thing.
So technically, so you'd have one of these a year, and it might even be the season ender every year. Or the mid-season, let's say.
So basically, you want fan fiction episodes.
Yeah, but with a basis in reality. Not like, bring back Madison. Like, no, but you'd have to... What would be the thing that would...
What if
would
Madison
to
didn't sacrifice herself? I mean, that could be a what if.
What if she did something differently? And in fact, like, I think what would be great about these what if episodes is showing the audience how, had these things not happened, so many other things would have gone terribly wrong. That's what these what ifs episodes should show the audience. Yeah. Like, you need a fucking reminder. You need to get bitch slapped.
Have the 11/22/63 effect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean by butterfly effect. Right.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I bawled. Like, we're talking about the last time, if I'm being honest, the last time I remember bawling to anything other than last night.
Yeah.
Was to 11/22/63. That end scene had me in tears, like uncontrollable tears. That made me feel, because I felt like I was on a journey with this guy. I felt so many things. Now I want to watch it again, but I don't want to watch it again. That, you know, that feeling where you're like, I want to watch that again, but I'm like, no, I don't want to watch that again. That's painful.
I think Sharon knows that feeling.
I think we all know that feeling.
We all know that feeling. Now I just want to know where Franklin is.
Oh, he did. There's no way he's not dead. People like that don't survive.
He's a doctor. Of course he's dead.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Good point. Good point.
Can I just
say,
by the way, and Charity says hashtag Negan, like Laura Negan.
Negan.
I half wanted to like post. I didn't, because this sounds a little controversial. I wanted to post like a mock-up of a COVID vaccination card, but I wanted to put doctors Carson and Carson, and then put like the dates of like when each one of them died. Just pretend dates be the vaccination dates.
Oh my gosh.
And put like Squawking Dead as the name. Part of me is like, yeah, sounds good in theory. I don't think it's going to go well with the audience would actually post it.
Oh my gosh. I think it'd be
and then
funny.
I write in the caption, got vaccinated. Right. If we're going to talk about The Walking Dead, am I just going to regurgitate the stuff that somebody said on Talking Dead? No. Am I going to cite... I may cite something that Renee Hansen says about music, or like an analysis on music lyrics. That's cool. That's not something you're going to get from Talking Dead.
Yep.
I'm going to go into character depth. I'm going to go into like interesting... like reading even further into the writing, like what we said about Negan and what Lucille thought she had to do to get him to be the man he should be in the apocalypse. Things like that. That means so much to me. That has so much value. I want to give you something that you're not going to get anywhere else. I want to give you something that you're going to walk away with and say, I didn't think of that before. You know, so when I post online, it better reflect that.
Yeah.
The clips that I post, it's either going to make you laugh or it's going to make you think. I'm not wasting your time. You better put on notifications because you're going to get one a day, maybe, if that. By the end of the week, you'll probably get maybe 3 a day because that's when we post our episodes /clips/blogs, and they'll have some value to it. And you'll click on them and you'll be like, oh gosh, I should have followed Squawking Dead 3 years ago. Yeah, you should have, you fuckface.
Where you been?
Yeah, where you been, you pieces of shit? Like, I hate...
So
resentful.
Aggressive.
Yeah, I know. And this must be part of the problem. I'm finally opening up. I think this is what people want, right? Right, Charity?
That's what makes good TV.
I other than the leather jacket and the Happy Days, which we didn't say out loud, and you know, we said in the pre-show, but like the Happy Days shit. It's true. No, you can't say anything after that. Like being the Fonz. Hey. Come on. Yeah, I wrote this down, but it's not even a big deal. But like Lucille has a Colt firearm. I thought that was kind of interesting. You can actually make out the model and everything like that. It's just an interesting Rick parallel, like how he had the Python. But what's more important? But this is what led me to thinking what I thought about Lucille and what she felt like she had to do. You're thinking to yourself, why doesn't she shoot him? So in a way, like, why even bring the gun to the table in the first place?
Well, I had a lot more going on in my head than just that. When I saw she had the gun in one hand, the information on the other side of her, and in that moment she was deciding which hand she was going to use. Now, at first, maybe this is just the sick part of my twisted brain, I thought she would shoot herself in front of him.
Oh, that is interesting. Now, wait, let's follow this logic because I think you and me have the same conclusion. Why doesn't she?
Because she would rather watch him suffer.
That's what I thought, too. Like, she's sitting here wondering which would hurt him more. which would give me more satisfaction?
To keep him alive.
And then in the end, I love when I get to say this, because even in this scenario, because you wouldn't think it doesn't go the way she thinks it will. She thinks he's going to suffer and blah, blah, blah. And no, he shows up instead. This is like her own little version of the apocalypse. He becomes the man he's meant to be for her.
For her,
Not for the apocalypse, not for what the world is. I thought that's kind of cool. That's his version of The Walking Dead right there. Because you think the zombie apocalypse, it's over for him. No, he shows up. But I was thinking the same thing. Oh, this is going to make him hurt so much more and make me feel a lot better. And in the end, what do we find out, though? We find out that he doesn't even tell her until they're in this moment where he has to get the drugs. And then he finally starts to tell her. And then she goes, no. This is why I think you need to give up. Because I know that you cheated on me. Like, he didn't tell her until just then. I had assumed on first watch that, like, oh, he told her already. And because he was saying, I lie awake at night thinking, how did I get to be so lucky that you stuck around with me? And then I realized upon watching again, oh, he means because he was such a loser. Like, you paid for my bills and all that stuff. You did all this for me, and yet you still stuck around with me, even though I didn't come back. I didn't take you home from the doctor's office. No. She knew about that, and it's like, but no, honey, you don't understand. I was ready to cut you out, but I just knew you were the man. I took a chance on you, and of course, I'm still thinking like she chose the thing to make him suffer. But like at the same time, it's like, but what if? What if he shows up? Not everybody gets that. No, not everybody gets that last chance and it ends up working out. And sometimes it does. It's like that speech that Morgan gives. Like I've been, sometimes people change maybe a couple times in their lives. People make that change, the change that they've been meaning to make. But I've been 16 different somebodies, like I've made that change 16 different times, and I keep doing it. And so this is one of those times, that change, that life somehow brings you, or death. Upon them finally having this confession period, she says, you made up for it. And I thought that was kind of an interesting pair of words when you think about, okay, let's bring it back to Maggie. This is what gives him the ammunition to say, I showed up. I did the things. I saved people's lives. I stopped the whisperers. I don't have to pretend to be in the like, I know what I did. There's no making two bits about it. I know what I did. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect you at all to forgive me, but I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't do anything. I'm not going to cower in fear. I'm not going to pretend like I'm nobody. I'm not going to blend in the background. I am who I am. I may not be the guy I used to be, but I am who I am. I have to own up to everything. I'm taking like Carol, I'm taking responsibility for everything that I've done. I'm going to make that commitment to saying I'm not going to do it again, but I know what I did. I can't run away from that. There's no way. And with you around, there's no way I can get away with it. Even if I try. I just thought that's a good juxtaposition to have to this very moment. You made up for it. And then he gets to bury her, finally, in the embers, burying it in a shroud. You know what? We'd always dreamt of this moment. We always wondered what would happen if he got Lucille again. And part of me is doing backflips right now. First of all, I never thought that he would actually find it. I really didn't. I always thought that, okay, he's going to keep his promise. And in a way, he did. He's going to keep his promise to Judith. He's not going to get people hurt anymore. Now, I know that he did not do that. Obviously, he killed a lot of people, got a lot of people killed in the process, kind of like Carol. Let's say again, who knows Carol better than Negan right now? Or Negan knows better. Who knows each other better than Negan and Carol? Obviously, yeah. They did the things, but they're both taking responsibility for those things, or they're both at least trying to. It's all the successes, all the losses. We love Carol. Again, she comes in the box, with batteries, that's how we know her. We love her. So it's a little harder to accept Negan for everything that he is, not just the fucking crazy murderer person that we know, but also the person who saved people's lives. So with that, everybody, thank you for joining us on this Here's Negan special. I'm your host, David Cameo, joined by Cosmom09 and briefly joined by Alania. Sorry. And Sharon in the chat. Hi. Oh, actually, she's this way. I have to remember that. She's this way in the regular show. If you like what you heard on audio, head over to ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead. 5 stars in Eggplant in any venue of your choice, maybe all of them. There's nothing really stopping you. You don't have to be listening on Spotify to rate us in Spotify. There's no login required, I don't think, at least. Maybe there is. I have no idea. But create one. What the hell's wrong with you? Also, try to use it as a communications device. Tell us why you love us so that other people can know to listen also. I mean, if you love us, share that love. I mean, we would share your love. We do it all the time. We give people shout outs on this podcast. We put them in the blogs. We put reference links and everything so that people can follow you too. So just do the same for us, okay? You don't have to create a blog, but just rate us in the reviews and let us know that you have so that we know to look out for it. And if you really, really like us, head over to ko-fi.com/squawkingdead, ko-fi.com/squawkingdead. Just follow us there, create an account. It'll let you know when we have an interview coming up, and you can be a part of the live audience and ask a question during that interview. We've interviewed Alexa Nysensen. You didn't join us in the Peggy Shot interview, and you bit yourself in the ass when you didn't join us in the Alexa Nysensen interview. When are you going to cop on and just follow us on ko-fi.com/squawkingdead? I can't make you do it. But if you like it and you want to join in on some of the fun, whether it's recording an episode, whether it's joining an interview and being a part of the live audience, buy us a coffee. It'll last you 30 days. It'll give you 30 days of supporter back content. If you subscribe to a coffee a month, the party just keeps on rolling. You'll continue to have access to perks, to be able to download the unedited episodes, to be in our weekly Wednesday, maybe Thursday, who knows, Jackbox games. Of course, many new perks to come as coffee.com is going to be having tiers soon, which means my job is going to be a lot harder because I'm going to be giving you lots of free shit. Let's just put it that way. Lots of free shit are coming your way if tiers comes out, because you commit to 3 coffees a month, you get free shit every month, let's say. Again, I'm not saying to buy us a coffee. I'm just saying just follow us so you know what's going on, so that when something comes out that you might be interested in joining us or listening to, like an unedited episode where we talked about, in the last one where Alexa was going to be a possible interviewee, you would have known before anybody else. I guess we'll see you for Fear the Walking Dead's 8th episode, what was supposed to be the mid-season finale. Thank God it wasn't. We got a lot to talk about. But we'll see you then.
Bye.
Be safe out there.